some advice. At quarterback, look out for Drew Brees to pop off. He'll get to play at home in the Superdome. This isn't your 1986 Bears defense in the secondary on the other side. At running back, all right? Let me talk about J.K. Dobbins, who has been rolling for the Ravens. There won't be a ton of defense played by the Titans in that game, and Dobbins should vulture Lamar Jackson for a couple TDs. And at wide receiver, Chris Godwin is finally gelling with Tom Brady. Before we get started with all the trivia, let's check out our fresh fit of the week. And this one, it was a touching tribute coming at you from Josh Allen. He's wearing a Poncho's Army jacket with Viva Los Bills written on it. This was a tribute to Bills superfan Ezra Castro, known for his sombrero and face mask in Buffalo. He passed away in May 2019. So great stuff from Josh Allen and the Bills. Now we'll send it a little bit west to our friends in Canton.
Hi everybody, my name is Mike Crawford. I'm the president and CEO of the Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company. We have a lot of great things going on in our company, and I'd like to tell you about a few of them. We have a wonderful developmental academy with the NFL Alumni Association. Secondly, we've started our Hall of Fantasy League that will be unlike any other. We've begun construction of Phase 2 of our destination, the Hall of Fame Village, powered by Johnson Controls, and we look forward to welcoming you here in Canton, Ohio in the near future.
Well, folks, we have made it to the playoffs. Welcome into Hall of Trivia on HQ, our football and fantasy sports league trivia show, sponsored by the Hall of Fantasy League and the Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company. I am Jeff Eisenband, and I will be your host. No one has a bye week this week. We are all putting our trivia chops on the line. But if you lose, I'll let you come back next week. Also, I'm going with the pink tie tonight. I think I saw Matt wearing this the other night, or a pink tie. I was like, I'm going to try it out. Let me know what you think in the comments. Before we start trivia, let's head to the Start Sit Fantasy Pick'em Pool, brought to you by the Hall of Fantasy League. Remember, each week you pick the player you think will score the most fantasy points that week, get the most wins by the end of the contest, and you and whoever is left share a $10,000 grand prize. It's coming up soon because we're running this pool through the conference championship round of playoffs. And it is getting dicey. It is getting close. Last week we gave you 3 QBs, all right? And it was those of you that chose Justin Herbert who got the victory. Herbert finished his season with a nice 32.98 fantasy point performance. Tua disappeared. Jalen Hurts got taken out of the game. We'll talk about that a little more later. This week, we are going to give you not 1, but 2 start-sit polls for the playoffs. All right, from the Saturday games, we have 2 wide receivers, Antonio Brown of the Bucs and Terry McLaurin of the Washington football team. Who are you playing out of these? Go. Remember, you want the player that you think will score the most fantasy points this week. It's AB versus Terry McLaurin. Bucs, Washington football team. The 7-9 Washington football team, and there's 60% going with AB, former Steeler, former Raider, former Patriot. Now with the Bucs, playing with Tom Brady. And now for the Sunday slate, we have 2 quarterbacks, Baker Mayfield and Ben Roethlisberger. All right, we're going to call this one on HQ. Ready? Hut. But HQ. Stop. I'm going to hit you with this pass. All right, we got Baker or Big Ben. This game was played last week, Browns Steelers, but Big Ben did not play. He's back. Steelers, they were undefeated at one point. Browns making the playoffs for the first time since 2002, and it is close. Ben Roethlisberger edging Baker 53-47. So about half of you are going to be winners, half of you are going to be losers there. All right, now let's do that trivia. I'm going to ask you 10 questions about the NFL in this past week in fantasy football. All questions are powered by our good friends, our lads at Sport Radio. And, all right, as we're gearing up, that was the Hall of Fantasy League, the Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company. They're our sponsors. Remember, I'm still wearing a pink tie. If you get all the questions right, you and whoever's left will flip the prize pot of $2,500. That is Deshaun Watson level money. But is it tradable? Is it a tradable contract? Yeah, I'm not sure. Get ready for kickoff. Where are my Dante Halls at? Taking this thing back. All right, let's go. Q1. When a quarterback takes a snap and dives directly forward, it's called a QB what? Sneak, fleek, or peek? Yeah, that's right. We're giving you some rhymes here. That's what we're confusing you with Q1. Well, you can do this low or you can do it over the top if you want. Jumping over the top, but most of the time, the defense doesn't see it coming. That's probably why it's called a QB sneak. I actually don't know. If someone knows, let me know. 21,255 of you are moving on. Even Tom Brady or any of the old guys, Drew Brees, they can do this. Just got to go forward with it. You don't even have to run that far. Q2. Which QB did the Eagles replace Jalen Hurts with in the second half last week? Nick Foles, Nate Sudfeld, or Carson Wentz? The Eagles, they were playing well. They're down by 3. They got a chance to come back and send the Giants, the New York Football Giants, to the playoffs. But the Eagles' rookie QB, Jalen Hurts, well, he was taken out of the game in the third quarter by head coach Doug Peterson, who decided to give the team's just essential third-string quarterback a few reps. And that was Nate Sudfeld who got the call. And let's see how many of you were watching Sunday Night Football, 17,755. Sudfeld came in, he threw an interception, and then the next drive he fumbled. And the New York Giants didn't make the playoffs, and I almost got in my car, went down I-95 here, and, you know, when I see my Eagles fan friends soon, I'll have something to say. Q3. Who just became the 8th player in league history to hit 2,000 yards rushing? Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, or Alvin Kamara? We got a good group moving through 2 questions right now. I like the vibe that we have here. Well, for the second straight year, he led the NFL in rushing. But for the first time, Derrick Henry went over 2,000 yards. He finished with 2,027 rushing yards. And let's see how many of you finished with that question correct. 15,514. Some of you thought Kamara. I looked this up. Derrick Henry once ran for 4,000 yards in one season in high school. The dude's just been trucking other people running straight downhill for like a decade or more. Probably his whole life. Q4. Who is the only QB to ever throw 40 touchdown passes past the age of 40? Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, or Drew Brees? 40 TDs, throwing them past age 40. Well, it feels like any of these guys could have done it, right? I mean, but Peyton, he actually retired before age 40. And Brees, he's battled injuries since hitting age 40. And somehow, some way, Tom Brady keeps cooking. He hit the 40 touchdown mark this year at age 43, 12,218 of you paying attention to that. It's actually only the second time that Tom's done this in his career, but I'm starting to think that this dude's going to play till 50. He might go back to the Patriots at some point because they could need a quarterback. Q5. Justin Jefferson broke the record for rookie receiving yards previously held by which player? Randy Moss, Anquan Bolden, or Odell Beckham Jr.? Fun. We're going from Brady, who's 43, to Justin Jefferson, who's in his young 20s, to a rookie record. Randy Moss had a whopping 17 touchdowns as a rookie, but he was edged in receiving yards by a second-round pick who originally went to Florida State to be a quarterback. That was Anquan Bolden, who racked up 1,377 receiving yards in 2003. And that's a sacked question. Look how many you got mossed. I mean, you got J.J. Watt, because we're talking sacks here. He takes down Josh Allen, who's playing this weekend. Look, we tweeted a variation of this. If you follow us on Twitter, we asked basically the same question. He did break Randy Moss's Vikings rookie record, if that makes you feel any better as a consolation. 1,400 receiving yards this year for Justin Jefferson. Look, we're halfway through this game, so players take a quick break. This is the playoffs, so don't slack on me. You might have needed to use an extra life after that. I asked you on Twitter what NFL team really grinds your gears and why. Let's see who did the best Peter Griffin impression here. There were some good answers, but my favorites were these two. They were both very similar. First from Cognac, who says, I live in St. Louis, certainly the Rams, and by proxy, the Avalanche and Nuggets. I hope Stan Kroenke's not watching. He might come after you with that one. Also, Master Obi-Wan says the Los Angeles Rams because, and I missed that if that was on here, but it's another variation of St. Louis. All right, there it is. Certainly, the first one was I live in St. Louis, the Rams. That's Stan Kroenke one. And then we had because they should have never been allowed to leave St. Louis. Either way, people are not happy that the Rams left St. Louis. Maybe you'll get a team again sometime. I don't know. It's not my decision. Let's keep going. Q6. Those of you maybe used an extra life to get back here. Q6. Which of these teams has not played in a Super Bowl? The Arizona Cardinals, the New York Jets, or the Detroit Lions? Asaf, that was a lot of people that got that one wrong. Yeah. Asaf also agrees. This team won 3 NFL championships in the 1950s, but that all came before the NFL-AFL merger. After that, which set up the Super Bowl, they haven't been to the big show. This team has only won 1 playoff game since then, and that would be the Detroit Lions. Of course it would. Poor Lions fans. 8,817 of you. Okay, good. I'm glad that people got that right. I was worried people would say the Jets. Joe Namath did that. The Cardinals, remember a couple of years ago, Kurt Warner, Larry Fitzgerald. You do remember, because you didn't get it wrong. Q7. Oh, this is a good one. Who was the first player to receive a 100 speed rating on Madden? Deion Sanders, Devin Hester, or Chris Johnson? This is for the gamers out there, for the football gamers. 99 was the top rating at each skill for well over a decade in the Madden video game, and humanity didn't believe anyone could reach 100 speed until Madden 08, when EA Sports gave Devin Hester a 100 rating in the speed category. You could kind of think about who's the fastest guy here, and you guys did, 7,497 to you, going with the former Bear. His 6 combined return TDs in 2007 are the most all time. That's why I dropped a Dante Hall reference at the beginning. I didn't want to give this one away with the kickoff reference. Q8. Who is the only player in league history with 1,000 receiving yards in each of his first 7 seasons? Devontae Adams, Mike Evans, or Antonio Brown? Remember, some of you might have put AB in that poll at the beginning, the start sit. A lot of people used that extra life after missing that Randy Moss question. I see you out there. I get it. Look, Johnny Manziel won the Heisman at Texas A&M, and he got all the publicity when he was there. But his Aggies teammate, Mike Evans, has been the significantly more impressive pro. And let's see how many of you impressed me. 6,630. All right, we saw some Adams, but people sticking with Evans. Evans eclipsed the 1,000-yard mark by 6 yards before an injury forced him out of the last game of the season. Last week, he just made it. We'll see if he plays in the playoffs. That's why we had Antonio Brown, by the way, at the beginning. Q9. Before this season, what was the last team to make the playoffs with a losing record? New York Giants, Carolina Panthers, or the Seattle Seahawks? Giants, Panthers, or Seahawks? Well, I'll tell you this. The New York Football Giants in 2011 won a Super Bowl when they went 9-7. That was above 500. The Seahawks won the famous Beatquake playoff game in the 2010 season after going 7-9. Kids, if you've never seen this, look up the Marshawn Lynch Beastquake play. But it was the 2014 Panthers who won the NFC South at 7-8-1, and they were the last to do so. 5,303 of you. We're going to have a lot of people headed into the last question. By the way, add the Washington football team to that list. They did it this year. And the same coach, Ron Rivera, Riverboat Ron, he did that again. All right, we are headed to the last question, folks, so bear down. like the Bears did, even though they lost last week. Do not be the Cardinals, who just had to win, and they would have been in. They couldn't figure out how to do that in the last week of the season. But this is the last question. We should have put that Randy Moss question later on because so many of you used that extra life, and you're here for Q10. Who had the most rushing yards in a single game this season? Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, or Jonathan Taylor? 3 good running backs. Who was the best in a single game? Well, I'll tell you this. Derrick Henry went for over 200 rushing yards 3 times this season. But those were the second, third, and fourth highest rushing games of the year. Dalvin Cook, he also went over 200 yards in a game, but that was the 5th most. Jonathan Taylor, with his 253-yard rushing performance last week, had the most, and 3,663. You got that. And our winners this week of the first Hall of Trivia in 2021. Wow. As I said, look, you guys, listen, people continue to impress me every week. And the only thing I'd say is I'd have to tell our writing team, look, a lot of people got mossed, and we just should have put that at the end because we got a lot of winners, although I am happy for you. People like Alex2743, NNN 234. I used to be a part of the Northwestern News Network in college. If anyone watches. Pre-op, nice job. BBZ, the JSG. In Chioka, Langley, the clever, again, you get cut off. Blake Xavier got the win this week. Congrats to you, Blake. Adriana, I see you out there. Sophia191. What an impressive job by our winners, who have started 2021, the first Hall of Trivia of 2021, with cash in your pockets. Go buy some wings and burgers this weekend. Mozzarella sticks. If you're gluten-free, don't get any of that breaded stuff. We play Hall of Trivia every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, even in the playoffs. So pay close attention to all that goes down in the football and fantasy week. For more news and information on the Hall of Trivia, follow us on social at HQ Sports and at the HOF League. I'm still buzzing from there. As always, a special thanks to our sponsors, the Hall of Fantasy League and the Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company. I've been your host, Jeff Eisenband. You can follow me right on here at Jeff Eisenband. You want to talk football this weekend, you want to talk life, trivia, questions. I don't know. I could be your therapist if you need that. Until next time, have the best fantasy version of your week. Score some touchdowns, and please don't get vultured. We're this late in the season. See you soon. Run the play action.